welcome to this week's soul guidance reading from August 21st to September the 1st. Wow, so we're moving into September already. This week's message that I got straight after sort of asking for some guidance was stay loose, take care of your mind, body and spirit. So this is the overall arching message that I'm giving from Spirit out for the week. Okay, so there's some theme that we're going to be looking at to do with staying loose, and then take care of your mind, body and spirit, and you would know which one to really focus on. Obviously, ideally that you want to be really taking care of all these facets. Okay, so your mind about what you think, how you feed it, as well as with your body. Okay, whether it's getting enough rest, what kind of food are you putting in, and of course doing any kind of spiritual practice that actually engages you with presence and taking care of your inner needs. So it could be prayer also, but we'll see what the cards want to impart. I did a new moon reading, so if you haven't seen that, go back to it. It's in my playlist as well under new moon playlist, which will be a new one, and it is the new moon will be overarched the main theme for the month, okay, from one new moon to the following new moon, which will be in Virgo on the 17th of September. But this is roughly looking at the follow-on from last, from the reading from the 18th August. And these are readings, so there's titles on them, and do look at them if the actual heading speaks to you. There might be some message, even if it doesn't fit with the date, that there is a message for you that you might need to listen to. So just go intuitively, take what resonates, what doesn't resonate. It's not going to resonate with everybody. And I just trust that whoever needs to hear it will hear it, and hopefully it will speak to your soul and speak to what you need to know and how you can be guided. So I starting with the spread, I've got 3 cards face down with a new deck called Empowering Questions, which we'll look at later on, which arrived today actually. So that's something nice and something different, so something to think about. And then I've used my Colette Baron Reed Wisdom of the Oracle deck. In fact, where is the deck? Oh, it's here. That looks like that. Okay, and what I've done is I've already pre-shuffled the cards. I split them into 3 and I've cut them into 3, and I've opened the top 3 cards, so I've got that facing up, and I'm going to do a clarifier with the Osho Zen cards, which we'll look at. So the beginning of what the energy is really interesting, because on doing the new moon reading, there was definitely something that was going to come to an end. And also from last week's reading, which is right up on the front of the screen for me right now, and I felt that there was some kind of change, some kind of shift, something shifting, and I felt that there was going to be what was being asked of us was to go moment to moment. But I really have a feeling it has to do with something coming. It's because I've got here coming to an end. So definitely a time to go. So whether it's a relationship for you, it could be any relationship, of course. It could be a personal relationship or a work relationship, or something you thought you were going to do that you have maybe decided after having tried it out that you're not going to go for it, or you might have been informed that things have changed and you're having to move on from it, or some situation is kind of instigating your move. Okay, the path is not clear, although there is no danger in which way you go, because the path is one way. All right, so you're asked to be moved forward. If you look, there's only that one path towards that door. So you're asked to sort of be moving forward, and this could be Providence working on your behalf, which is sort of interesting because, like I said, the new moon reading definitely had a conversation of the same essence of moving, something having to go or something ending. The other thing that's also interesting is I've got 3 cards here. The other one, which in fact we'll move on to, is the second card, which is the Treasure Island. Often a card of some good fortune or a good opportunity. It could be hereditary, it could be some money, but it also could be some kind of accolade or some kind of recognition that you had now has turned over in its head. So it could be various things, but I just want to point out at the moment this is a number 9, as with this is number 45, so that comes up to a 9. And I've also got a Sacred Rebel card, which I'll talk about shortly, which also happens to be a number 9. So number 9 classically is also an ending of a cycle. coming into a new sort of a cycle. Okay, number 9 is often completions, which I talked about. Also, we got the Hermit card in the new moon reading, and 9 is also about completions and having a different perspective on things as well. So this Treasure Island here, I fear that we have the tortoise now that it's upside down, and somehow I feel that your talents or something has not been appreciated or looked upon, or you might be mentally in a sense of discord, okay, that has now caused you to feel quite anxious and possibly thinking mentally negatively. And it could be because, of course, this has happened, which is maybe a situation, I feel, which is what I said in the new moon reading, that is beyond your control. Okay, and what was required of you from that new moon reading was strength, and we've gone right into the opening post new moon into the new week. So this is where this is the energy that you're coming in from. Okay, so this is sort of the present. All right, I am going to open clarifiers for sure with these, and then what we've got is we're moving on to some mending, which I feel also that this could be some kind of healing. So this could also be to do with mending the contract, or mending having a conversation, or mending your state of mind, or mending basically anything to do with how you might feel about yourself or what actually has happened. All right, this might be also actually you deciding now to look at things carefully, and take heed, and possibly even ask for guidance as to what is going on. Okay, I feel that there is some kind of confusion, because for some reason I'm actually noticing that these two beautiful little girls are looking up at a figure or a face up in the clouds and looking in that direction. So it's as if you want to kind of have some clarity as to possibly why this has happened, or maybe what you can do to actually change the situation and navigate in the terrain of changes that are, I feel, will be facing some of you, and if not quite a few of you. Now obviously this is not going to speak to anybody, so you're going to have to take what resonates with you. This could also mean amending a conversation you've not had. It could be to do with sort of undoing something that happened, or stitching things up in some way. So some conversation could have had, or some dispute could have been had, and there's been a misunderstanding that you need to put in place. Or it could be that you actually need to put a conversation into place so there is clarity. But whatever it is, it's asking you to actually, sort of create something so you can actually even make it longer, if you like, or something that's going to sustain you. All right, so I think we've lost some momentum here. And like I said, this is not going to apply to you. And I also say this because we got this card the following, just last week. So this is a repeat card that fell out as I was shuffling. And we had this card last week, which is to do with what do you feel? Okay. Now, if you look at the figure, she's got 3 items. She's got an orange in one hand, an apple in the other hand, and she's looking up. And this is about you being really honest and authentic and being really true to what it is that you actually want. Okay, sometimes we actually are influenced by what we think we ought to be doing, and we don't even know our way for sure. Okay, so if you're finding yourself in a situation where you actually need to make a decision, the way to do that actually, which is a really nice image there, if you actually look, she's holding the I don't know if the camera's got it. Oh, there. Okay, she's holding the apple there, and then the orange. So you can visualize, actually, rather than having 2 different fruits, you can actually visualize a ball of light in your hand, and maybe with one decision that you've got, or something that you want to propose, or maybe the direction you think you want to go, and see how it feels. What color does it actually have in your mind's eye? Does it feel like it's a yes? Okay. Sometimes if I have a decision to make, I use a balanced scale, and I could see, and one always has the significant yes, and the other one is very dull, dark and heavy, and then it's a no. So you can actually use that as a way to decide. So some of you can actually be being given a choice, okay, and one might actually make things grow and has a more sustenance for you. Like I was saying, if you actually look at the figures there's 2 spools, okay, one's bigger than the other, one's slightly covered, so you might not see all the details in one of the options that you might be given, but there you can see there's more string, more thread, and there's more kind of longevity because the string is longer. All right, so again, this is something that you might need to look at. What is going to take me further? Okay, and you could be faced with a decision, or a decision that you thought was going to be out of your hands is thrown back into you. Maybe it could be a deal that you haven't gotten, or conversation that you thought that you'd had ended is now coming back in your way. So something to do with mending, reconfiguring, rethinking and revising, and anything. So which is really interesting, because of course we are also at with Uranus in retrograde as we go along these next few weeks, which is really bringing that up. I think there'll be also some healing for some of us as well, that there might be some old memories coming up, which could also require you to actually go inward and start sensing, and maybe just allowing some old emotions that maybe haven't had time or a chance to come out, that seem to be possibly reappearing. Okay, so do not be phased, whatever it is. Do look at the situation clearly, you know. When I say clearly, do not turn your back on it, whatever it is. As you're moving forward, look towards what it is that you need to get some insight into, and what the spirit wants you to know, which also, you know, if we are rigid, okay, you know, which is interesting because it says stay loose there. If we're rigid, you can't think straight, okay? So it's really allowing, there's a softening of the mind, the softening of the body, so you can allow what needs to come in, and particularly softening of the, so the divine spirit can communicate, okay? When we hold on to anything, our grip is too tight. And if you look at here as well, she's not actually holding on to anything. So there is a real something about not holding on. I'm going to try and see if I can find a photo from the overall new moon reading, which is really helpful, because I can also relate to the theme, as I said, the themes of what you know, how time sort of flows. Yeah, we got quite a bit of courage. There was no blame to be had in the new moon reading. Perseverance and discipline. There was definitely something to be let go of, okay, because we did get the release card as well. We ended the, well, towards Virgo, I won't go there, let's look at the beginning of the week. There was definitely something having to be let go of. We started off with Four of Cups, which is a card of anger. It could also be an emotional fragility, so something is breaking, or you might feel emotionally fragile. But whatever it is, it's time to let go. It could be time to let go maybe of some emotions that you're still holding on to, or a sense of anger, or a sense of injustice. Okay, so if you're in a relationship and something's come to an end, or you're beginning to have doubts, it might be a time for you to definitely walk away. I did actually mention this as well. It could be to some of you for a job as well. You know, it is asking you to be brave and move forward. Okay, there's something better waiting for you, and it is definitely time to move forward. Okay, so I'm just going to move on from these cards and see if I can find anything else with these the Osho cards. So I'm just going to give them a really quick shuffle, and I'm going to change my, normally I have the cards open, and I'm just going to change slightly the shuffling style. Okay, they've already been pre-shuffled before being here, and I'm just, for the purposes of working with the camera, I'm just going to split them. Okay, and this is going to be sort of the tarot that will help to clarify what we need to know. All right, let's have a look. Wow, okay, yeah, wow. All right, okay, this one gives it very nice, interesting clarity. So for some as well, it's definitely about letting go of control. Here we go, okay, you know, time to go. If you're in a controlling situation or controlling environment, a controlling relationship, or you're controlling your mind, you're controlling the outcome, it is time to definitely let that go. Okay, this is causing you a lot of tension, a lot of stress, and it is not serving you. Okay, it is almost so keeping you very rigid, and I feel that there's not much movement, and it's actually causing some kind of stagnation. All right, I think it's really important as well that the more control you try to have and maintain from a situation that's come up or needs to happen, you're not going to get the clarity that you need. Okay, it's really important that you get the clarity. I feel like my mind's just gone to the top there. Okay, and you need to have that open, you know, vessel to tune in. Okay, so again, stay loose, because if you're holding on, so I feel that some part of us, some part of anybody is going to be wanting to stay in control. It could be a control of the emotions. You actually might feel really upset about something, you know. I know we got the opening card of anger and rage, but perhaps own your feelings that you feel like you got used, or you know, something's changed, or you need to change something that you weren't expecting, or something unexpected. Okay, these things are all individual. I can't possibly cover all the possibilities. You know, well, I'm trying to do my best to do that, but it can't be as specific. So but there will be a factor that actually has sort of arisen, that that it is time for you to let go. I think it's to do with an environment as well, that, you know, perhaps that you were wanting to be in, that has no longer, has, you know, it's kind of, it's going to losing its spark. Okay, and you know, and it's really important to start owning the spark as well. All right, because that's what keeps things vibrant. Okay, moving on, which is again really interesting, to do with the treasure island. This is to do with, like I said, perhaps, you know, you feel like you're going in the wrong direction, and you know, we've got the tortoise. You know, tortoise is actually a really strong you know, reptile, you know, to be able to swim in the sea and go distances, you know, and yet it's upside down. So perhaps at the moment you feel that you're not going further, and you may be fighting a mental battle with you. So this letting go could also very much be, like I said, letting go of control. You know, there's some kind of mental battle. If you look at the two figures there, okay, you might even actually want to be fighting it out with somebody. Maybe something's happened and you want to fight your corner. Let me see if I can get it into focus. Yeah, is that, I'm going to be in focus. Oh, there, you can just about see the clouds. It's there anyway. All right, and I think this is kind of like an external battle maybe you want to do. But interesting, again, the new moon theme was to let it be. Okay, so whatever it is, try not to get your fists up and start feeling, well, I've got to fight, and I've got to justify my place and justify my position and stuff. Okay, I think in some way you might also want to ask yourself, was there anything that, you know, without being hard on yourself, maybe to look at clearly, was it any way that you were possibly being defensive, or are you being defensive? Okay, it's going to be different for each and every one of you. All right, but this is not a time to do your own head in. All right, but maybe some kind of self-inquiry will be helpful, and be mindful that if something doesn't go in your favor, or what you thought was in favor, perhaps to look at, you know, was there something that you could have done differently? Or maybe there was an external factor. I can't help but feel this is more of an external factor that's happening beyond your control, and you're unfortunately having to see the situation for what it is. Okay, and it really is no point getting prickly about it. And I think this is why there's a mending, because there's some kind of something that needs to be healed. I think it's to do with this, but I think this mending is going to be really good for you, because this other card we've got here is a rebel. This is the Emperor's card generally, but I love this one because this card is very powerful. This is actually getting you to break free from something. If you see, look at the chains, okay, that this is actually a breaking free from something that's hindering you, that would have been hindering you, that would have held you back, or, you know, or you actually breaking free from a situation. So if this is something that you've decided, like I said, that you want to pick time to go, so this will be working in two factors. Okay, you're either taking control of the situation, you're breaking free, or the situation has arisen that it's breaking you free. But either way, keep your spirit up and keep your flame alive. Okay, take the experience that you've gained from it and actually move forward and move on, because you've already gotten the lesson that you needed to get from whatever it is. And this is to do, remember, like, you know, the week roughly from the 25th to the 1st, you know, some of you could be experiencing that maybe whatever did happen or has happened or is about to happen, you might find that you are meant, you know, you need to just lose the grip. Okay, lose your mind. Do not lose your mind, but what I'm saying is, do not get into your mind about it. You know, just let it go or mend whatever it needs to mend. Okay, there's some definite, you know, if something is also keeping you hostage, it could be again a situation or communication that's not happened, that you know that maybe it's not happening, and you're sort of still in hostage. You're feeling that you're being controlled under it. You don't know where you stand. You know, maybe you need to break free away from that as well, and actually make the communication, or draw the first step into making that communication, whatever it is and however it refers to you. This is what it's really suggesting, right? Yes, really interesting. So I can't help but feel that this is definitely something. Do not fight over what's happened. Definitely let go of control. But you will be. As the week ends, I think some of you be really fighting your mental state or a situation. It could be as well, like I said, you know, you might actually sort of want to renegotiate and come to a better place, because you might find that something had been served that was not wrong, like in a certain sense of injustice. I'm just going to open another Sacred Rebel card to see if there's anything else. But remember to think about, be honest with yourself and look at what it is that you actually feel. Okay, be really honest, ruthlessly honest, and just think, is this something that I really want? Is this something happening to me, or is this something that I'm creating? You know, your body or your truth won't lie to you. Okay, this is why sometimes going into your body and visualizing what you need to visualize is really helpful. But let's see if there's another card that the Sacred Rebel card can maybe inform us of. All right, because I did open up 2 cards in last week's reading. Too many. All right. Okay, it's this one. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, inner trust. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Just trust yourself. This is really about trusting, right? If you start going into your head about things, you're going to be fighting what's not true, what's not right. You're going to be in a mental state about things, okay? This is about you trusting that you're getting the right guidance and really just trust, all right? This is a beautiful card. Now, she knows exactly what is true for her, okay? And this is about you knowing what is true for you. You know, and being still as well, you know, trust the words that come to mind or come to your heart, maybe even as you make that self-inquiry. You know, and really look at the situation for what it is. Sometimes we can actually sort of blinker ourselves or kind of put a hood over ourselves, you know, like a hoodie kind of thing, which is not quite a hoodie there, but you know, you can sort of, you do that to kind of allow yourself to hide the truth. We do this, but in some way you know the truth. Okay, you need to let the truth come out, and this is where you find your strength. Okay, because once you start looking at the truth of the matter for yourself, right, you will gain the inner trust. So this is very much a week to start really taking care of yourself by trusting yourself and trusting what you need, you know, trusting what again, you know, how you need to take care of your body and your spirit and your mind. And again, there's so many modalities out there, there's so many ways of doing things, and it is really about you trusting. So this is about you building a relationship. This is, remember, a soul guidance reading, so this is what the soul needs to know. Okay, your soul is guiding you to trust yourself implicitly. Okay, really important as well. I mean, these 2 cards are very similar, because it is both ultimately about trusting you over any personal or outside opinion or what you might think is the right thing to do. Okay, sometimes we need to get quiet, you know, quieten out the mind and quieten out the world. All right, and then even maybe just disengage from actually speaking to anybody else about it, so you can start trusting your inner wisdom. You know, you might be actually tuning in to some, you know, YouTube channels as well, particularly about relationships and this, and you're starting to think, oh my God, that really sounds a bit like what I'm going through, and then they give you some kind of advice, and then you're thinking, I don't know about that. You know, whatever it is, again, just start trusting yourself. You know, this is a really good way to do it. All right. You know, I really love this sort of visual, your body, just go inward and just think about the ball of light. So that's where I'm going to stop with the cards for now, but I'm just going to look at, look at the first empowering question we had. There are 3 columns down here, okay? And the first one, all right, which is really interesting. It says, if I didn't feel shame or fear, what would I do now? Wow, okay. So that's great. So again, you know, you might actually want to confront somebody, like I said earlier on. All right, but this is a question for you. This is not for me to give you the answer. Okay, if I didn't feel shame or fear, what would I do now? So possibly if you're going off in another trajectory, or you've been asked to go, or something had to go, or you didn't feel shame or fear, even if you say you weren't embarrassed to leave your marriage, or you weren't afraid of actually leaving something that you thought was going to pay you well or whatever, you know, what would you do? Okay, I'm going to hold it there. I might actually stick those questions at the bottom as well, so you can have some time to reflect on them. Stamp it so you can actually go back and have a look. There are 3 cards here, so there might be one empowering question that really stands out more. You get to choose, okay? I'm not going to do 1, 2, and 3 and you choose one sort of thing. We can do that actually, because the first one is actually a heart chakra stone as well, which is to do with if I didn't feel shame or fear, what would I do now? The second one is a Smokey Quartz as well. So, you know, again, you know, make your choice. Okay, it's pyramid. All right, and then the last one is the Amethyst. Okay, but this is for the Smokey Quartz question now. What is it that fascinates me so much that the thought of feeling of it won't leave me alone? Interesting. This is about overthinking, isn't it? How do I put this feeling into action right now? So maybe there's something actually that could have happened, and you might have get an inspiration because of what's happened, and for you to start trusting that feeling. Okay, sometimes it's through a limitation or a restriction or an obstruction or something falling apart that we find something new or an action can be put into place, because there is that missing piece. All right, so again, I'm just going to hold that for a moment, and if this is your card that you chose or you'd like to really concentrate on, I'll timestamp it, and then you can really look at it and maybe make an inquiry and journal. Okay, now the final one, which is to do with the Amethyst. Okay, is there something I should let go of to be able to move forward? Wow. Okay, so there is definitely something else, something about moving forward here. All right, these were randomly selected. Okay, they 2 of them fell, and the other one was at the bottom of the deck, which you know came out as I turned the cards over. So that is the 3rd card. Okay, for whoever wants it, to do with the Amethyst. Okay, again, all these questions you can also inquire in yourself. So these will be timestamped. The questions will be at the bottom and in the description box. So do have a reflection. Okay, sometimes it could be not even a person, it could be something. You know, could it be like you're wanting to let go of your home, or if there's some books, you know, or have you done, you know, or maybe you finished this particular area of your life that you've been maybe engaged in for so long, and now you feel the truth of the matter is, you know, if you really make that inquiry, that you're no longer really into it. Okay, and you need to move on, and maybe you can give them away. All right, and again, the last week's message was, you know, there was a giveaway, you know, and sometimes, you know, the giveaway ceremony, so whatever you're giving away, always bless it for the fact that it's been in your life, for what you receive from it, you know, and then just release it that way. All right, so I'm going to choose also an animal spirit card, wisdom card, very quickly. I mean, you've noticed, if you've been following this channel for a while with different meetings, there are quite a few different decks I use, and I like to mix it up. Yeah, and last week we got the dragon. Okay, and that was actually burning out thoughts, people, or anything else that you can actually visualize. And we'll see if there's one that wants to come out for this week. Okay, for those who are actually quite happy with the dragon, you keep on using that. Okay. You know, so it is a really good, particularly will fit very well with this week's reading as well. Okay, I'm going to choose one. It doesn't come out. Okay, I'm just going to choose one. All right, new pathways. Wow. Okay, so definitely something new coming up for some. I think some of you are going to be really forced to actually really look at a new path. All right, and trusting that. Consider whether you're currently happy on your current path. New pathways. Wow, okay, you know, maybe you've said yes to something and you realise, that's not really quite I really want to do or go in, and, you know, you might have to reconsider what you've said yes to, okay? Sometimes, you know, there's nothing wrong with changing our minds, okay, because we always make a decision based on where we're at in that moment. But literally sometimes by some experience or a trial of exploring something, we realise actually this isn't quite a good fit, you know, and it is okay to actually question it and change, you know, your path, okay, whatever it could be, okay. It could be as simple as even changing your hairdresser, or it could be a coach, or it could be, you know, a job you thought you wanted to go for, or whatever, okay. So it says, consider whether you're happy on your current path. Okay, it is time to slow down and take stock of where you're heading on this journey. Does it feel right? I mean, here we go. Okay, another card that really confirms. So as you see, these cards are all totally tied with each other. So I really feel it's a very, very strong theme. Okay, you will be breaking free, some of you, I think, without any doubt. you know, and it's asking you maybe to really look at that, because this is also all those cards really correlate. Okay, there's no right or wrong turn or path, as I said. Okay, at any one time we have many options available to us and many doors to open pathways to your journey down. I often find many of them overlap and ultimately get us to where we need to be. Okay, but some routes feel faster when we surrender and trust our inner compass. Okay, there's that inner trust. All right. Sorry, so I think I've just caught the split happening there or recording, so we'll continue. I often find many of them overlap and ultimately get us to where we need to be, but some routes just feel faster. And when we surrender and trust our inner compass, which is the card I just had on the camera, okay, things become crystal clear. Okay, and this is what I'm saying, you need to let go. You need to let go. Right, because we need, you know, if you hold on too tightly, you're not going to get that crystal clarity that you need, which is right up there. Okay, so that's really important, because that's what you want. You know, you want to stay loose so you can allow, you know, to be channeled the truth. Okay, if we're all up in the head, we tend to get sort of, you know, ourselves into a knot. If you feel you've hit a wall or your life is not flowing at this time, the antelope has come to help you. Okay, remember this is the spirit animal. It's like a totem, so you can call on the antelope. Okay, look at its horns as well. Okay, that's where the message comes through. Okay, and it's got a lot of strength. Okay, and it comes through its own crown. This card comes with hard questions and also with a promise of new opportunities. So if you open all of your senses, ask for signs and they will come to you. Okay, so I think this is really beautiful and really apt. All right, you know, and even if you look at this, you know, the horizons are great. There's so many other opportunities, so many other hills to climb, so many other planes to experience. Sometimes we can be very limited in our thinking because all we've got is what we've got in front of us, and we don't know where we need to go. So sometimes that's really hard because you don't even have two options. You might just have one option, and you don't even know there's going to be another option popping in. All right, and they're the ones often scary to open up and trust into, you know. And we've been, you know, and there is that safety, there's that sense of security. You know, sometimes we can luck out and hold on to one thing and something better comes along and you can make that transition. Other times, you know, you let go of something and you're completely barren for months or weeks and you think, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You know, I let go of a job that I didn't like, and now, you know, I trusted that, and now I'm completely, you know, I mean, I found myself in that situation once, absolutely adamant I had to leave this job because I felt it to be so toxic, and it was, you know, and I really trusted that, and I just ended up for about 2-3 months, you know, just nothing came up, and that was quite tough, but, you know, it was what it was, and there's no right or wrong. Sometimes we have to do that. The option was, do I stay somewhere really toxic, or do I release myself from that, you know? And I'm quite free-spirited that way, you know, a bit like the rebel. I'll just break free from anything that just is just really negative or just a hindrance. You know, for me, a sense of my sense of value is about feeling vibrant and liberated. I don't want to have to be chained to something that actually gets me down or be in an environment that's really negative. So that's personally how I live. Okay, but each and every one of us is very, very unique. So this is really a beautiful thing. So call on Antelope to actually help you towards a new path. All right. So I'm just going to do one more card from the Surrender deck. And maybe even the Whispers of Love. I've had the Whispers of Love on the table so many times, and it's never quite had its debut appearance yet. But perhaps maybe a bit of TLC and a bit of love will be exactly what we need. But we'll see if there's anything that we need to surrender. Okay, and again, they have been pre-shuffled. Okay, I'm going to choose one as well. This one's sticking. All right, that's nice. Okay, so surrender to receiving support and love. So again, whatever changes you go, you know, do reach out to people who can actually, who know you, who can reach, who see you, who are able to support you. Okay, sometimes we try and handle things, or might be, you know, there's a feeling of shame, you know, or something happened, maybe you got sacked from a job, or something's changed and you feel really embarrassed about why, and you don't really want to speak about it. just know that people see you differently, you know, and people really recognize you and can meet you, and it can really mirror back to you about who you are, what you're about, you know. And try not to handle everything. It says allow the love and support of others in, rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. What was interesting is we also got the chakra card, the self-empowerment card, the solar plexus card for the overall theme, and I decided not to open a chakra card for the week, and possibly not, because I want you know, people to concentrate on the solar plexus as well, because this is all about your power. This is about being in integrity, being in your sovereign. Okay, and I feel like really this month is really asking us to be coming from that place, always from the heart. All the chakras have a place, but particularly the solar plexus. All right, and that card, determination card, which was, again, if you look at the new moon video, you see it. It was to do with the salmon going upstream. Okay, and that card also, the salmon doesn't do it singularly. There's other salmon all traveling up. So I did sort of say it's about actually going with people, getting to the support you need, being determined, maybe following your tribe or having a partner or whoever it is to support you. So this also very much reflects whatever you're going through, you're not on your own. Okay, and it could also be divine spirit that you want to be calling in your guides and your allies, whoever you might need to help to love and support you through any transition or any change. Okay, and finally the last card will do whispers of love. All right, and see what the card no, there's too many there. What gift of love can we have? Okay, now these are quite diverse love cards, if you like. Some are very close to relationships and some are to do more with personal love. But we'll see what card. These cards are actually beautiful as well. They're beautifully illustrated, but they're quite thick as cards, and so therefore they kind of come out in chunks very easily. But they seem to have loosened up. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, so I think it says here, simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. So I think that's also really lovely there, you know, take care of your mind. Okay, maybe you can be kind to yourself. What can you do, you know, that emphasizes the kindness? Okay, now do bring around people. If you look at there, she's got animals all around her. So again, be around people who make you feel good, who actually show some kindness, or, you know, and also bring, I feel that because there's some kind of change or something going on, I think it's really important that you actually are really very good and taking care of yourself. So by being kind is eating foods that are good for you. You know, being kind is actually maybe even having a meal of a junk food for a change, because you always eat well. You know, so again, that kindness is going to mean different to somebody or everybody. Okay, it could be having a bath, you know, kind of instead of a shower, you know, sort of, you know, gently, whatever it is. Okay, just be kind. You know, kindness, you know, to yourself. You know, maybe taking yourself up for a quick breakfast. You know, or, you know, instead of, you know, putting your body through a strict regime all the time, maybe backing off and being very gentle as well. Okay, or instead of berating yourself actually because you failed to eat well, you know, or maybe that happened twice in a week and you're berating yourself in your mind about it, you might actually be harshly speaking to yourself. Okay, it might mean that actually you might feel like, oh my God, I fucked up again. Or whatever, and or, you know, this always happens to me, you know, whatever. Again, be kind, you know, just be gentle and kind to yourself. All right, so this, I'm going to end it here, I feel, because I think this is really important. So again, take yourself out in nature if you can, if the weather is good, particularly, and we've got a bit of rain here in London at the moment, which is what we've needed. We needed to get some water onto the earth, really. But do go out. I mean, I went out for a long walk today by the river and it was absolutely beautiful. There was hardly anybody around and the water was the tide was out, because of course we're right in the new moon at the moment, and it was the most beautiful sort of tranquil walk I've had in a very long time with hardly anybody around. So whatever your act of kindness is for you, I really suggest that you do that. Yeah, so I tend to repeat the cards all over again, but I'm just going to say, you know, whatever, if it's time for you to go, move on for something, I really feel that is the theme for a lot of you. Trust yourself, no matter what happens. Trust life itself as well. If that's something out of your hands and out of your controls, don't go into your mind about it. Stay loose, don't get rigid. All right, and most important, trust that there are new pathways. Call on Antelope, all right, to help you move and through new pathways. And if you're stuck on something and you're not happy, use Antelope anyway to start actually invoking and, you know, wanting to create changes for a new path for you, because new pathways is definitely calling, and I feel it as well. Okay, not only because of the cards, but also because I really feel that this is where the theme is for a lot of us, and a lot of people, including myself. Okay, so lots of love, you know. I'll see you next week. Lots of blessings. Trust what you feel, do what you feel, all right? And yeah, come back to this video if you want to sort of take you know, whatever in that you need to. There will be the questions below, and time-stamped as well. And anything else, there are, like I said, there is a playlist of previous readings. I recommend that you watch them, because then somehow it gives you like a sequential. I'm noticing the readings have a real sequence to it, okay, or flow to it that starts right, going from one week to the other. And yeah, I have some other videos called Ask Rafah, which is to do with any problems more specific to do with relationships, be it with your mother or a partner or anything else. There are various topics there. They're correlated to the chakras. I do have a chakra sheet as well that you can actually get for free download through signing up to my newsletter, which you hardly get actually. I took 2-3 months off this summer, but they're definitely only monthlies, and they tend to come out on the new moon, and there'll be updates on any programs I might be doing, any retreats I might be hosting, and more importantly, there'll be definitely nuggets of yoga tidbits, chakras, and insights and words of wisdom, hopefully, that would, you know, help you along your journey. So I'm going to end it here as always. Thank you, lots of love, and I will speak to you next week. Bye for now.